It's election day tomorrow in Gujarat, but giving a short drift to development, it's temple trouble, caste politics, neech personal attacks that have taken the centre stage during the poll campaign. So much so that the BJP, which has been ruling the state for almost 2 decades, 22 years to be precise, has even forgotten to come out with a model election manifesto. Under attack from the Congress and other opposition parties, the BJP did finally unveil its Sankalp Patra, which barely touches upon key issues like basic infrastructure, job creation and education initiatives.
Clearly the narrative has changed and no party can absolve itself from the charges of taking the campaign to such low levels. And it is a matter of big concern that Gujarat, whose development model has been a point of discussion even in international forums, is now going to polls with a highly polarized political campaign. On the eve of the first phase of polls, we bring the spotlight back on the crucial issues that Gujarat is facing now. Is the Gujarat model leading to higher living standards? What are the real issues that Gujarat is facing? That's what we're discussing tonight on the India Development Debate on ET Now, the only show on news television that puts the spotlight on development issues. Joining us on the show this evening, Amit Malviya, spokesperson of the BJP, Charan Singh Sapra, spokesperson of the Congress, Ghanshyam Tiwari, national spokesperson of the Samajwadi Party, Professor Sanjay Kumar, director at CSDS, and Sabar Naqvi, senior journalist. I'm going to start off with you, Amit Malviya. The big political question: has the development narrative taken a back seat in the Gujarat elections?
Well, certainly not for us, because development remains our key focus. And I heard the introductory comments by the two of you. And just to set the record straight, I like to put out some numbers that really contrast the development that's happened in Gujarat from 1995 to 96. And now, when we've been in power for the last 22 years, if you would just bear with me, the per capita income of Gujarat has shot up from 13,665 rupees to 1,41,504 by this year 2016-17. Vegetable production has shot up from 20 lakh metric tons to 126 lakh metric tons. Milk production during these 22 years has gone up from 46 lakh metric ton to about 122. Similarly, the Milk Cooperative Society has grown by 6,000. Now, let me just take these numbers to some of the social indicators that we would be interested to know, like education. Here it is. The dropout rate between Standard 1 to Standard 5, which used to be at 36.93%, has dropped to just 1.54%. The dropout rate from Standard 1 to 8, which was at 51.25, has come down to 6. And I'm specifically mentioning this because a lot of kids who dropped out between class 5 and 8 were girls. That has improved significantly. Number of primary schools has gone up. The literacy rate has shot up, not just amongst the average Gujarati,
Mr.
but
Malviya,
also...
Amit Malviya, I'm glad you're making those points. I'm glad
on and on.
Yes.
On health,
Amit
on
Malviya,
nutrition and various other parameters.
Right.
Sure.
That have improved significantly under the 22 years of the BJP's rule in Gujarat.
Amit Malviya, I appreciate the fact that you've come prepared with facts, with numbers. We are not going to trade charges with each other here. We will hopefully talk facts, and believe you me, I will touch upon those individual issues in just a bit, but I do want to get opening comments from each one of you here. And Mr. Sapra, Mr. Malviya has thrown numbers at you. I do not want to get into the specifics right now. We will over the course of the next 1 hour. But who is to be blamed for this shift of narrative away from economic development? Why has that been put on the back burner, and who would you blame for that?
See, of course, the Bharatiya Janata Party or Prime Minister Narendra Modi is to be blamed for it. They know very well that they cannot answer so many questions which people are asking today on Vikas or development. So that's why they want to change the narrative. They want to talk about everything except Vikas. They want to talk about Congress leaders. They want to talk about China, Chai, Khilji, Hafiz Saeed, Babar, everything, Ayodhya, everything they want to talk, but not Vikas. Today, the people of Gujarat, they are asking them that you had promised 50 lakh houses to us. Why you have not given? There is an increase in unemployment. There's an increase in atrocities on Dalits. There's an increase in, there's a distress with farmers. The farmers are not getting their MSPs. There are so many issues of women over there. The education for which Mr. Malviya was now claiming high numbers, I would like to point out that education is grossly privatized. It has become very costly. The medical health facilities have been privatized. It has become very costly. And the contractual work has increased. People are only on contracts. They are getting payment only 5,000 to 10,000. The engineers or the postgraduates also, so they are having fixed pay like 10,000 to 15,000. Whereas they can get payment up to 50,000.
You're not getting the question. The question is simple. Why isn't it talk in the election about development? And I don't need to remind you what was said by a senior leader of your own party a day ago that has led to this whole furor, and I will come to that. Charan Singh Sapra, I'll come to that. Let me get Charan Singh Sapra, I'm just going to interrupt you for a second. Let me get opening remarks from all my panelists, and I'm going to come back to you. And we have much to ask both the Congress and the BJP. But let me take this to Sabha Naqvi. Sabha Naqvi, a simple question. Who do you blame for this shift in narrative? I would have thought that Gujarat being this model development state, the talk would be about development, the talk could be about economic issues, the talk would be about substantive issues. People would debate the Gujarat model of development, whether it has worked or not worked. The figures that Amit Malviya spoke about, that's what should have been spoken about in rallies, whether BJP or Congress. Why hasn't it happened, and who do you blame for this?
First of all, I think the problem that the BJP faces in Gujarat is once when people get empowered up to a point. So I'm not debating not being an economic expert, but let's say that farmers, agrarian sectors, there's been an increase in production. Now everybody has talked so much about GST. I found that in rural areas, when I traveled in Gujarat, people were talking about MSP. That was something that Narendra Modi as Chief Minister used to mention a lot about the support price of cotton and groundnut and all. And I in fact made it a point, I've covered so many of his campaigns in Gujarat, I made it a point to sit through an entire rally. And he mentioned the increased production because of the Narmada waters, for instance, but he did not mention the issue of support price or GST. So I think what happens is when people have been prospering in a relative way, then they get extremely annoyed when things, when that process slows down to an extent. And I think that is the challenge that the BJP faces in Gujarat. About who has made it about identity issues, certainly the Bharatiya Janata Party has, because Gujarat has a particular context in very strong feelings, the most extreme feelings from the Hindutva point of view. And we've had a particular history in Gujarat, which is not the time to get into. So I think certain subliminal messages have been, buttons have been pressed, issues have been raised, because there is the chance of a caste rupture. I'm not that convinced that the Patels will leave, but I'll say that there is an appearance of a caste rupture in the alliance that kept the BJP afloat for so long and so successfully and very popular also. So, they have raised it. There have been unspeakable remarks by a candidate recently. Even some of the remarks, when you suggest that Aurangzeb will be the ruler, you are in effect saying that if the BJP goes, then Muslim rule will come back. So the Muslim is this sort of devil who is evoked all the time, and that's happening. It's become part of the campaign processes all over India. And certainly, and I mean, the Congress, I think the remark made by Manishankar Iyer is unspeakable. It is a shameful remark which nobody should say about anyone, let alone the Prime Minister of India. And but I think the party has taken some sort of action about it. And look, the BJP is the big player here.
Right.
So I really feel that because people did well there, so they're extremely annoyed that their profit margins or whatever are curtailed now.
Right.
I think that is the story of what's happening in Gujarat.
You're actually hitting the nail on its head and prompting me to my next question. And I promise to come back and speak about what Manishankar Iyer said, the self-goals of the Congress and all of that, and how it impacts this election in just a bit. But Professor Sanjay Kumar, I'm going to ask you the question that Sabah Naqvi pointed us towards, that, you know, people have done traditionally well in Gujarat. It's been a state of traders. It's been a state where business is the mainstay. And now that business is taking a bit of a beating on account of what the government has done, whether it's the GST reform, which we believe definitely and most definitely should happen in this country, or for that matter demonetization, the working community, the trader community of Gujarat has been hit by this. Is this perhaps why we are not hearing the Gujarat model? I mean, it was the Gujarat model that we kept hearing to the 2014 campaign. Many people believe it's the Gujarat model that catapulted Mr. Modi to 282 and put him firmly in the driver's seat in 2014. Why are we not hearing of the Gujarat development model or the Gujarat model of governance at all this election?
No, you're right. That first of all, let me say that why I was very happy to hear the BJP spokesperson. He was trying to cite several figures of Gujarat development, but these issues, these figures should have been mentioned when the campaign was going on. We didn't hear these figures when the campaign was going on, when Congress leaders were asking questions about development. The question which you asked, why don't we hear the whole issue of Gujarat developmental model during the campaign? If we go by the studies which we have been conducting during last couple of months, BJP is trying to evade this issue, but I think economy is the real issue in this election. The traders are unhappy. In spite of giving concessions on GST, traders are really unhappy. Farmers are really unhappy. Demonetization is an issue. GST is an issue. Unemployment has gone up. That is an issue. But if you talk to the BJP leaders, they all say these are not at all an issue. If this was an issue, we have already given concession. So that is why this whole narrative of Gujarat developmental model has not been spoken about by the BJP leaders, while when Congress is campaigning, they are actually trying to ask questions about, tell us what has been the development in the state for the last 22 years. If these are the figures, and also in order to say something about the figures a standalone doesn't speak. If you compare the figures of say 1995, 1996 to 2016 and 17 for any state, these figures would grow up. You have to compare Gujarat with Punjab, you compare these figures with Haryana at the same point of time, then one would know. Compare it with Maharashtra, Kerala and some other state, then you would be in a position to make an assessment whether Gujarat development has been faster compared to these states or not. Right. If you are comparing in the same state between 10 years, any state, the poorest state would also see a growth.
Absolutely. Okay, fair enough. You know, Ghanshyam Tiwari, I'm coming to you, but I want to get a quick word in from Amit Malviya, because a lot of people have made points and it's only fair that he gets a chance to respond to it. Amit Malviya, the question that the panel is asking tonight is, why has the BJP not, has not made the Gujarat model of development its poll plank, like it did in the case of 2014? Why has it not made it its poll plank? Why is the conversation, the campaign not focused on the Gujarat model of development? And you pointed some figures, and you know, there are areas, no one can deny, where the state of Gujarat has made considerable progress over the last 10-15 years. We've seen strong economic growth. The agriculture sector has done well, and there are social indicators where the state has been a medium or average performer, as evident by various surveys, including done by the RBI. So, but yet, why has the BJP not made it a poll plank? Amit Malviya.
The BJP has constantly been speaking about development. Even on this debate, when I started off with giving numbers, you said you will come back to me, and just give me about 2 minutes. I will respond to both the number story as well as the other charges that have been made by your other panelists. Look at total production of cotton. It has gone up from 24 to 91 lakh bales. Now, people speak about industrialization and about the workforce that is going into formal. I will just give you numbers of the mining sector. There were only about 9,56,000 workers in the mining sector about 22 years ago. They are now about 1.5 crore. That is the huge jump that we've seen. Per capita consumption of power has gone up from 693 units to 1,910 units. That is huge by any standards. You look at the budget size, it has shot from 10,000 crore to about 1,71,000 crore. Revenue receipt has gone up from 8,500 crores to about 1,12,000 crore. There are so many such indicators that I can just go on and we will never end. There were about 50 ceramic industries when Prime Minister Modi when he was the CM of the state, took over, and there are about 700 today. Obviously, these industries are employing people. The farmers are doing well. The cotton production, I've just told you, has gone up. But the fact of the matter is that no party and also a section of the media is interested in debating these issues because they are mundane, they are boring. Now, you want to know who polarized this debate, who brought in identity.
Can I answer this, please?
Let me point out to you who started visiting temples. It was Rahul Gandhi. He's visited 21 temples in the last 1.5 months. Have we ever seen Rahul Gandhi
So what happened if he
any
started
temple
visiting
anywhere?
temple?
He doesn't even go to
Why
temple
he
in
shouldn't
Delhi,
visit
forget about
temples?
going to temple anywhere else. Secondly, Mr. Iyer was the one who made the comparison to Shah Jahan and Aurangzeb and likened Rahul Gandhi's elevation to the Mughal dynasty. It wasn't the BJP. As far as the Ram Janmabhoomi temple was concerned and the issue of politicizing it was concerned, it was Mr. Sibal who, while representing the Sunni Waqf board, asked for a deferment post 2019. Now, I want to ask Mr. Sibal and the Congress party, is Sunni Waqf board a political party and is it going to contest the 2019 election? All these issues have been introduced in the campaign by the Congress party, and I'm sure you do not expect the BJP to sit back and let all of this pass.
No, we don't
At the end of the day, it's a campaign season. We are a political party. We are going to respond to all the charges that are thrown at us.
Yes.
Now, the last 2 points.
You have given him a long chance, 5 minutes.
It was done last year. Every political party tried to make it a campaign in Uttar Pradesh.
Right.
And the result is for
Malviya,
everybody
I'm not
to
going
see.
to go to UP.
As
No,
far
we are
as
not going to go to
GST is
UP. I'm
concerned,
sorry, I
we
would
do
have gone. No,
understand it's
Mr.
a
Malviya, I
big
will not
reform.
let you go to
It is
UP.
going to take
I will come to
time, but I
Ghansham
can
Tiwari.
assure
And
you
Ghansham
that
Tiwari, Amit Malviya believes that the polarization first began by the opposition, led by the Congress party. I take a, I just don't know if visiting temples is a crime, but taking that on board. Some of the points that he's raising are very valid. The Sibal self-goal, or for that matter, Manishankar Iyer's comments twice in a row, the Aurangzeb comment that triggered the whole controversy, which the Prime Minister did amplify by making that stray remark, which he perhaps should or shouldn't have, is another debate. But even the Manishankar Iyer remark, the self-goals that the Congress kept doing, the narrative kept shifting, and the opposition cannot absolve itself of the responsibility that the opposition did play its part in shifting the narrative away from economy, away from jobs, away from what the GST meant, away from what the demons of demonetization was, to resorting to, if I may quote, soft Hindutva, to resorting to issues outside of development. Can the opposition today rightfully put its hand on the heart and say, we played along the development plank and the BJP did not? And I think the answer to that should be a no.
Well, let me make 3 simple points. One, if you look at how Amit Malviya is trying to get an extra 10 seconds to make his speech on development, and I was just reviewing his tweets in the past 3 days, he would have done more than 20 retweets, more than 15, 20 tweets. Not a single one of those tweets is on development. Not a single one of those tweets speak about the figures that he was talking about. So maybe he does not believe in what he is saying now, or maybe he does not believe in what he was tweeting. Second, BJP.org speaks about Gujarat model as the vision that India awaits. It was an election for BJP to show its vision to people of India. For 22 years, in 2002, 2004, 2007, 2009, 2012 and 2014, 6 elections, Prime Minister spoke about his vision for Gujarat. And last 4 days, he spoke about Shehzad Poonawalla, he spoke about Kapil Sibal, he spoke about Manishankar Iyer, and today he spoke about ISIS. So clearly the man who was leading the development model of Gujarat is not interested in his own development model. The BJP website speaks about Gujarat model, saying it's the state where the children are the healthiest. Gujarat ranks
about what we've done for tribals. He's speaking about what we've done for agriculture.
Amit, let him make his point. Amit, let him complete his point.
In a 45-minute speech, we just pick up 2 minutes.
Amit, okay, Amit, but let Ghansham make his point. Let him complete. Quickly, Ghansham, make your point. I need to go to the Congress representative as well.
So when you charge opposition, look at Rahul Gandhi's tweets and questions that were asked. In one tweet, he was wrong on calculating percentages, and the entire BJP pointed out you were wrong. That means that he was right in every other tweet, because in no other tweet they pointed out anything. In Gujarat, the reason Rahul Gandhi said that they will waive farm loans is Gujarat, the average farm loan per farmer is 1,21,000. 43% of farmers are in debt. So when 60,000 MSMEs have shut down in 10 years, 21,000 hectares have been given to industries and nothing has come up in terms of job. More than 6 lakh people, educated people are unemployed.
Okay.
So the Gujarat model of development is in shambles, and that is the reason BJP is not speaking about it.
Okay, you are saying the Gujarat model of development is in shambles. That's the reason BJP isn't speaking about it. Charan Singh Sapra, I'm going to come to you, and this is a clear question, and there's no way we can avoid this question, which is, has the Congress damaged its own chances by scoring 2 self-goals in the form of Kapil Sibal and Manishankar Aiyar? I mean, how else are you going to justify that remark? Trust me, I don't think the people are convinced by one apology from Manishankar Aiyar or a tweet from Rahul Gandhi. What was the need for that comment, and what does that reflect, and how much is it going to damage Congress's own prospects in this elections at a time when many believe that Congress had some amount of momentum picking up? Charan Singh Sapra.
Well, see, I clearly feel there is a conspiracy, within BJP, what they are doing. The agenda of Gujarat model has taken a back seat, and probably the Modi model, which leads towards polarization, they deliberately wanted this Modi model of polarization to come in the forefront. Now, as far as Manishankar Aiyar issue is concerned, Congress party has taken action on him. He has been issued show cause notice and he has been suspended. Now, let me bring some instances of BJP leaders, including the Prime Minister himself. Prime Minister in recent October 2017 in Gujarat, he said, Congress Vikas ke naam pe bhaukti hai. In Himachal Pradesh, he compared Congress with termite. In Chhattisgarh, Khuni Panja. Sonia Gandhi, he termed as Jersey Gai. Then Rahul Gandhi as a hybrid calf. Then probably Shashi Tharoor's wife as a 50 crore ki girlfriend, and a press reporter in Delhi as Bazaru Aurat. Now, Prime Minister of India himself, he has been talking in a derogatory language. The other leaders like Giriraj Singh, he compared, Rajiv Gandhi, if he would have married a Nigerian girl, he mentioned like that. You see Haryana Chief Minister Khattar, regarding women, what he spoke, he said, agar bahut azadi chahiye, to nange ghoom sakte hain. You see what Sadhvi Niranjan Jyot said, Ramzade, Haramzade. So the BJP leaders the BJP leadership has never taken action. At least Congress party, Shri Rahul Gandhi gave an indication that he's not going to accept any rubbish.
Very magnanimous of him.
That's why he has given an indication to the entire Congress party. Whereas BJP has never taken action against anybody. Neither Amit Shah. They are all loose cannon.
Yes.
There are loose cannons from Amit Shah.
I think the problem is there are too many loose cannons in Indian politics. Mr. Sapra, I get your point there. I think we get your point. We appreciate the point that you're making. And I think, Amit Malviya, you've got some soul searching and some answering to do on some of the phrases that have been said. It actually puts me to shame as a woman and as a television anchor to even be hearing some of those phrases. But you are equally to be blamed for the nonsense that Manishankar Aiyar has been talking about time and again. Whether it's the Chaiwala remark or Aurangzeb or now Neech Rajniti. But Sabha Naqvi, will Manishankar Aiyar's self-goal cost the Congress dearly? And that's really the big question. Is it an election agenda in Gujarat?
Look, the real problem that the Congress has is that last mile connectivity. Towards the end, when you go out and one cannot be certain that the annoyance with the BJP, which has converted into acceptance of the Congress. So these questions, on election models and all that, one is not sure about the answer in Gujarat. So the real challenge is last mile connectivity. But Manishankar Aiyar's comment has given the Prime Minister a narrative not only for this election, for multiple elections. It's a gift to the Prime Minister because the Prime Minister very rightly sees himself as an outsider from a non-elite background who has broken into the power structure in Delhi on his own abilities and campaigns and whatever. Whereas Mani's remark smacks of that traditional Congress elitism, arrogance, So it's a terribly damaging remark. Now to say what impacts an election, which is an assembly election fought on local factors here, but it's bad news for the Congress. The Prime Minister has a line for many rallies for some months. I mean, he picked up Chaiwala and how he ran with it. So this whole process of calling anyone neech, it's gift to the BJP. The BJP should be delighted with Manishankar Aiyar. I think many congressmen have helped the BJP enormously. And there's that Shehzad who's I attended a rally where Prime Minister started off with the talk about Shehzad and the Shehzada, you know. So the Congress has, if I may just take 2 more minutes, what I do feel, whatever be the outcome, what the Congress does not have is a tradition of corporate loyalties and corporate management, where they are all sort of, they work towards an end, you know. If I may say so, the BJP works much better as a cohesive unit in spite of differences, in spite of problems, in spite of sulking people, you know, which is all happening in Gujarat. There is just something. So the Congress is a much harder sort of autonomous kind of a party in this round.
Okay, Sanjay Kumar, you know, since you've done a few polls as well, you know, opinion polls, and which clearly reflected that the momentum was shifting towards the Congress, while the BJP was still ahead and was all set to form the government. Multiple polls have been done, but the one done by CSDS probably gave the best chance to the Congress. And I don't want to discuss the opinion poll per se, but I'm trying to understand how damaging could such a comment be at this phase of the election, almost on the verge, on the eve of an election. Could this lead to a momentum shift back?
See, if I go by our opinion poll, yes, there was a clear sign of Congress gaining momentum, but at no point of time we got a sense that Congress is winning election. Yes, they were in the fight. We got an assessment that they would be, their vote share is increasing by say 3-4%, and Congress and BJP's vote share might go down by say 3 or 4% compared to the last assembly election. So yes, there was a momentum in favor of Congress, and the momentum, BJP was losing the momentum. I think this statement will enable BJP to gain back the momentum, and Congress would lose the momentum. There is no doubt about that, that this statement by Manishankar Iyer is going to damage the Congress. If there was no possibility of damaging the prospects of Congress, Congress would have not reacted so sharply and so quickly. So clear, I think there is hardly any doubt, I would hardly disagree that this is going to damage whatever prospects Congress was able to gain in the Gujarat Assembly elections.
Amit Malviya, you know, the finance minister today, while releasing the Sankalp Patra, and I think one of the questions that we should have asked early on also is, why have you not released an election manifesto? I mean, why are you releasing a Sankalp Patra on the eve of polling tomorrow? So, I mean, that's one question that I would want you to address. But the larger question is that the finance minister, when he spoke about the Gujarat model, he said Gujarat has grown at 10% over the last 5 years. And, you know, this despite a global slowdown, this despite China growing at only 9.5%. It clearly has been one of the better and if not the best performing economic statistic states of India. But as far as social indicators are concerned, we can't say the same about Gujarat, despite the figures that you gave me, whether it's women's health, whether it's the education, whether it's child development. 39% of children in Bihar are undernourished. 33 out of the 1,000 children born die at the time of death. There is a scarcity of doctors. Look at women, you know, there's a dropout rate which is very, very sharp. Literacy has dropped in for women from 70.7 to 57.8. I mean, you know, I can quote numerous figures. And even the RBI survey itself says that Gujarat is an average, if not a low performing state when compared to economic statistics when it comes to social indicators. How are you going to justify the fact that economic progress in Gujarat has not translated into social equity as well?
So start with, I don't agree with your assessment because it seems that you're cherry picking numbers, but let me just counter your numbers by another set of numbers which is with us. Again, I'll give you a comparison between 1995 and 1996 because success is a measure of where you were and where you have reached. Let's look at the total number of medical seats. They were 825 22 years ago. They are at 3,230 now. Number of doctors have gone up from 26,000 to 61,000 now. Institutional deliveries have shot up from 36 to 98 in Gujarat. I think that's significant as far as women.
All are private colleges. No new government colleges have been opened.
Malnourished children. Malnourished.
No.
You know,
all are the private medical colleges or the private engineering colleges.
Mr.
There is
Sapra,
not a
please
single
keep quiet.
government college which has been
Mr. Sapra, please keep quiet. We will come to you. You will have your turn. Let Amit Malviya make his comments first.
I sense there's a sinister plan
to
derail this campaign.
Okay, 1 second. Mr. Sapra, please keep quiet. No, Mr. Sapra, you cannot speak out of turn. Mr. Sapra, please keep quiet. Let Amit Malviya make his remarks. We will come to you. You cannot intervene him. Go ahead, Amit Malviya.
malnourished children, they have dropped from 13.35 lakh per number to 2.10. There has been a remarkable improvement in tap water connectivity in rural Gujarat. It has shot up from 26 in 2001-2002 to 77% of the household. Left out households which did not have a toilet has dropped from 47.3% to 1.3%. Human Development Index, the overall measure, has improved from 0.4 to 0.6. There are numerous such data that have seen great improvement. There might be some odd figure that still need improvements, and we are working on it. Development is a continuous process. It's not a 5-year bucket that you look at and say, oh, I've developed or not. We are working and constantly doing newer things to make sure that Gujarat is prosperous. That's point number one. Okay, point number two is, Supriya, that we have released our Sankalp Patra. It is different from a manifesto or a vision or anything. It is something that we are going to deliver to the state of Gujarat, and that's why we have released it today. We have released it at a time of our choosing. I don't think you can grudge us that. And you will allow us the space to make sure that we communicate what we want to at the right time, and that is what we have done. And I will believe that the people of Gujarat will judge us for what we have shared with them today, and they will vote for us accordingly tomorrow and on 14th.
Okay, I'm sure the people of Gujarat will make a wise choice, but Amit Malviya, just one quick point, which is that I'm sure there is enough statistics on both sides of the debate to justify that the state of Gujarat has done well, but we can't lose sight of the fact that two independent surveys, one done by the RBI a couple of years ago and one done by the Social Progress Index put out by the Institute of Competitiveness, again seems to indicate that Gujarat is just an average performing state when it comes to social parameters, not quite in sync with the economic growth that the state has seen over a period of 10 years. That's the limited point that Supriya was making. But Charan Singh Sapra, if I may come to you, this is a government that's battling a 22-year-old incumbency, and yet the fact is that it at least appears to be in the driver's seat. This is a government that's going to vote after having inflicted two tectonic sort of reforms. Some may call it positive, some may call it disruptive, in the form of demonetization and GST, and yet it seems to have some sort of control over the narrative. Why has the Congress not been able to come out with a concrete agenda, development agenda of its own in Gujarat? Why has the Congress not been able to produce a solid ground-up leader from Gujarat, some of the soil, so to say, who could fight the Congress's pitch? Why is the Congress's entire poll plank focused on targeting what the BJP has not done without offering a development narrative of its own?
So many questions to the opposition party and very few questions for the ruling party. See, that's what I'm saying. So many questions you are asking to the opposition party and very few questions and very more airtime to the ruling party.
That's unfair.
See, the issue is,
Charan Singh Sapra, that's very unfair, because we've got you and Samajwadi Party on the panel. No, Charan Singh Sapra, one point I want to make. We've got you and Samajwadi Party on the panel and one representative from the BJP. We've got an independent journalist in Sabah Naqvi, and we've got one cephalogist. I don't think, I don't think we can be more balanced. Please go ahead and make your point now.
You please allow me to speak.
Sure, sir. Please make your point.
You please allow me to speak.
Sure.
Yeah. If you are saying that they are in the driver's seat, then why lakhs of people were on the streets in Surat, in Rajkot, and in other cities of Gujarat? They were out on roads, and people have seen them. The people have lost their business grossly. Whether that is the Morbi industry, whether that is the Alang industry, whether that is the Surat industry, or whether it is industry elsewhere. See, number one. Number two, the farmers. Now he was talking, Mr. Malviya was talking about cotton growing. The cotton growing, the MSP which government had declared was 3,860, whereas they gave farmers only 2,500 rupees. For groundnut they declared 4,120. But they gave only 800 rupees to 1200 rupees. So the farmer is in distress. He is not getting his production cost. So that's why the farmers are not getting the water, though Narmada Hulalu has been done. But the major or the minor canals which will be connecting various villages or various farmlands, those canals have not been made. 75% of major and minor canals are still under progress. They have not been made. In 22 years, if they cannot make major and minor canals which can take waters to the farmland, then what is the use? These are the questions which people are asking. They have failed in their social engineering. The partidars are against them. They have, filed 20,000 cases on partidars. 14 partidars have been killed. There have been atrocities on Dalits. There have been atrocities on OBC. There are OBC issues. The Adivasis, their lands are being snatched. There are no good policies for the Adivasis. The Adivasis are in distress. So the social engineering in which BJP was earlier good, probably in Gujarat they have failed in 22 years. So these are the probably broad spectrum which the Congress is targeting, and Rahul Gandhi is asking every day one question. 10 questions till today he has asked. BJP has not been able to answer any question. They have been purchasing electricity from 4 private companies at the rate of rupees 24 rupees 60 paise, whereas the NTPC was giving them 3 rupees 11 paise electricity. The NTCP production was reduced to 30%, whereas they were purchasing all the electricity from 4 companies. And in 22 years, they have purchased electricity worth 64,000 crores. Why they have wasted 64,000 crore rupees of taxpayers' money when they were getting electricity in rupees 3 rupees 11 paise? So these are the questions which people are asking. Education is privatized. The hospitalization is privatized. The education, the college, the private colleges which he was talking about, medical college or the engineering college, all the colleges which have been added are the private colleges. They have exorbitant fees. A normal Gujarati person, a normal Gujarati family cannot send their student to do those courses.
Okay, Mr. Sapra, I think you made your point well noted, but Ghanshyam Tiwari, I'm going to come to you and talk to you about the one big issue in this election, and that is caste. It was a big issue in UP. The BJP scored a victory because it could stitch together this rainbow alliance. You know, the Congress kept blaming the BJP for playing the caste card in UP. It's done the same thing in Gujarat. I mean, you know, the whole tie-up with Hardik Patel and then announcing reservations and all of that, the proposal, the intention, the promise. Should reservations be a part of the political narrative for an election as important as Gujarat? Should reservations be an issue at all on the agenda? There are bigger, broader issues to be discussed.
I'm glad you asked that question, because it's a very pertinent question, especially for your viewers who see reservation different from the economics of reservation. The reason the caste issues came up in Gujarat was because economy was failing. In Patidars, 40% of Patidars, according to surveys, 40% of Patidars are cultivators. What is the status of cultivators in Gujarat? If you look at the NSSO reports, more than 3 lakh cultivators, actually 35% of cultivators, 3.6 lakhs, have left the job of cultivating. 16.5 lakh agri laborers are there in Gujarat. 50% have left that job. As the government was transferring land to industries, big industries, petrochemicals, they did not deliver. 50% of their industrial output comes from petroleum and chemicals, which have not created jobs. So as a result, people who were in agriculture suddenly did not find economic opportunities that would benefit them. As a result, they took a refuge in reservation as a medium of getting those economic benefits. Second, there is no case in Gujarat that agriculture has become successful. If you look at the number of farmer suicides, it's 1483. So the Patidar agitation is primarily coming from the failure of agriculture in Gujarat. That is creating a pressure on the already bulky OBC reservation bank that consists of 50%, that does not accommodate a number of weak communities. Third, BJP, instead of addressing the issue head-on, kept on selling the mythology of Gujarat model. They went to Bihar, sold the mythology of Gujarat model. Fortunately, they failed. They came to Uttar Pradesh, again tried selling the mythology of Gujarat model. What I don't understand is why are they not presenting that same model to their own people in Gujarat? My final submission is the GSPC scam represents everything that is wrong with Gujarat. If you look at a government-led company, which Prime Minister Modi boasted that it will give energy sufficiency to Gujarat, now is in debt of 20,000 crore, losses of 20,000 crore. Whereas Adani's have gone from 3,000 crore to 75,000 crore in revenues. So on one end, the government-sponsored sectors have suffered, and on the other end, the big capital in Gujarat has prospered in a big manner.
Okay. Point noted. You know, I don't believe in this, interrupting and outshouting my panelists, but that doesn't mean that we give 4-minute answers, because we'll not be able to cover much ground on the panel. So closing comments. We just have got 6 minutes left on the show. Professor Sanjay Kumar, coming to you first. And if you look at the manifesto, you can't call it the manifesto, the Sankalp document that's been put out by the BJP today. It's evident that the focus is on rural Gujarat. A lot of stops for farmers, commitment to double to increase MSP, a lot of focus on farmers, a lot of focus on MSMEs, which are two clear pain points, one would argue. Do you think this is a concerted, conscious effort? Because rural Gujarat could be an Achilles heel. Your own surveys seem to indicate that that's where the BJP seems to be having to catch up to the Congress. The Congress seems to have a visible lead. Traditionally as well, rural Gujarat has voted the Congress over the years as well. So is that a conscious attempt, you think, to placate voters in rural Gujarat?
No, I won't disagree with that, what you have already said. See, there is a clear sign. Farmers are in distress, farming communities in distress, not only in Gujarat, but elsewhere in other countries also. But right now we are discussing Gujarat. So let's focus be on Gujarat. You rightly pointed about the electoral outcome. Even if we look at the past election results, 2012 or 2007 or any other election, out of 182 constituencies, there are roughly 198 constituencies which are completely rural, and rest are completely urban and semi-urban constituency. Even in 2012 assembly election, when BJP registered a massive victory, actually in the rural constituencies there was a neck-to-neck fight between Congress and BJP. The vote share, in terms of vote share, BJP was just little less than 1% ahead of Congress, but Congress had managed to win more seats than BJP in the rural areas. So even in this election, when we are doing the survey, there is a clear sign Congress is actually becoming much stronger and stronger in the rural areas. BJP is not strong in the rural areas. So that is why I think the whole focus in the manifesto is to actually cater to the needs of the rural people, especially the farmers. So I agree that there is a shift, there is a tilt in favor of rural people to woo the votes of the rural population.
And I think every political party is entitled to do that. You are entitled to woo every section of the voting community. But Amit Malviya, do you believe the MSP promise that the Prime Minister had made during his 2014 campaign to double MSP and has not delivered on that? In fact, the government seems to have done a U-turn on MSP being doubled. Is that an issue that you should promise anything to Gujarat at all on? I mean, why should you bring up higher MSP when you haven't fulfilled or walked the talk on your 2014 electoral promise?
I'm not quite sure why do you think it's not been done. In fact, MS Iyer, who is the agricultural economist who spoke about this, has actually come out and endorsed the Modi government's agriculture policy. But I want to make one very quick point since we are going to close this debate now. I just heard the Congress spokesperson say that we had promised some 2,800 rupees for groundnut and we've given him 800. We've given the farmers 800 rupees. You know, the problem is in our political discourse, and really what the Congress is trying to do in Gujarat is peddle so much of lies that we don't even want to respond to it and legitimize. I heard the gentleman from Samajwadi Party say that weaker sections of the Gujarati society have now started demanding reservation. If his idea of the Patel community in Gujarat is that of a weaker section, then clearly he does not understand what Gujarat is all about. But, you know, everybody is free to an opinion and there's airtime so people can say. But last thing that we have to understand, Gujarat is a fairly entrepreneurial state. The Gujarat model has ensured a great deal of prosperity for its people. The point that Sabha made, that if after 22 years the growth is even marginally slower than what it has been in the past, which has been at an average of about 10% in the last 5 years, people start complaining. This is a problem of plenty that people in Gujarat have, and we are quite delighted to know that we have put the state in such a situation. And I'm quite sure that if we have this debate on the evening of 18th, we will have all facts out there, the numbers out there, and the BJP will come on top, and I'm absolutely confident the people of Gujarat will back us again after even 22 years of being in power there.
All right. Sabha Naqvi, I'm going to let you have the last word. And, it's never a wise idea to predict what's going to happen in elections. So I'm not going to ask you to do that. But I'm trying to understand from you, from the Congress's point of view, what's the best case scenario? Is there an election that's all about Jo Jeeta, Wahi Sikandar? Or is there, is there enough in this election for Congress to win, even if BJP would have formed the next government? How are you reading? What are the 3-4 things that we need to watch out for come 18th of December?
I think the Congress would have done very well if they increase their vote share, actually. That I think that would be a good performance for the Congress, which has been fairly beaten, and vote shares have been coming down. If they increase that, and let's just one quick point here, the Congress on an average has around 39–40%. So it does have a starting block in Gujarat, unlike UP, for instance, where it's been number 4. So I think the Congress would have done well to increase a vote share. That would be my as a political analyst, I would see that. Of course, you know how we hype victory and how we hype defeat in our television perception, and also because Rahul Gandhi is now going to take over the reins of the party directly. And I will say one thing, for him to time his Rahul has not been for many years a convincing act, but for him to time his taking over the presidentship at a time when the greatest BJP bastion, you're going to go and fight there, that shows a level of courage. So I think that's a good quality in any human being, regardless of which party you may belong to. So the Congress increase in vote share would be a good performance for them.
All right, on that note, completely out of time on this edition of the India Development Debate, where we've really put the spotlight on Gujarat but asked the most relevant question. Why has development taken a backseat at a time when jobs, education, healthcare, economic development should have been talked about? What we are talking about is Aurangzeb, neech Rajniti and all of that. Some things that should best be left for politicians to do, but when elections are around the corner and when elections are so important as Gujarat, we do believe at ET Now that economic development should be the top priority.
Big thank you to all our panelists on the show this evening, Sabha Naqvi, Amit Malviya, Professor Sanjay Kumar, Charan Singh Sapra and Ghanshyam Tiwari for joining us with your thoughts and perspective on the India Development Debate. Keep it with ET Now.